The oldest rivalry in the FPHL writes another chapter as the Prowlers visit the Watertown Wolves. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you at Watertown Municipal Arena. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. The snow is blanketing upstate New York. The Prowlers and Wolves ready to get back at it tonight. These two teams haven't faced each other in this building since April of 2023 when the Prowlers swept the Wolves, including a shutout victory for Ian Wallace. Again, that was the final time the Prowlers were here in this building, but this is the first of two times they will visit Watertown this season. These teams split their opening series of the season all the way back in October, and we'll see if the Prowlers can take some more points from the Wolves here tonight. Well, much more coming up for you on the pregame show next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHB Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
On Prowlers hockey, presented by Proper Prowlers. Shot. Port Huron Prowlers. Back here at Watertown Municipal Arena. Well, we are here live in Watertown, New York. They said it couldn't be done, but we did anyway. That's our motto here on the PHB Network as the Prowlers and the Wolves get set to battle for the second series this season. As I mentioned in the opener, these teams split an October set all the way back in Port Huron. Back near the beginning of the season, these two teams look very different than they did back then. It appears that we will have a bit of a later start time here tonight as warm-ups did just wrap up a couple of minutes ago, but we are set to go right here on the PHP Network. We thank you so much for tuning in with us, whether you're at home or you're at Wings Etc. at our watch party. I want to give a big shout out to the watch party there at Wings Etc. Hey, if you didn't know, tomorrow night they are going to be drawing a Prowlers jersey raffle winner. So get your receipts in if you're there tonight. Go there tomorrow, get your receipts in so you can get into that raffle. You can win a free Prowlers jersey. You must be there to win it. So if you've already entered the raffle, make sure you're there at Wings Etc. tomorrow night for the watch party. But again, shout out to everyone who's there already tonight. Let's take a look at what happened last time out for each of these teams. Both of them 5-1 decisions. But for the Wolves, they were on the wrong end of it, taking on the Danbury Hat-Tricks here in Watertown. Austin Belfay scored twice, while the Wolves got just one goal. They have given up a lot of goals this season, second most in the FPHL, currently giving up 4.73 goals against per game. But the Hat-Tricks end up sweeping the weekend, picking up 5 of a possible 6 points. Caden Fennell, 3 helpers for Danbury. Kyle Penton gets the win with 27 saves. The Hat-Tricks continue to be pretty much a mid-level team, going an even 4-4 in January so far. There's, of course, still a couple more games left to go in this final weekend of the month. For the Prowlers, again, they also had a 5-1 decision. That was at home, and that was a victory over the Indiana Sentinels. Bobby Price led the way with a hat trick, the third hat trick by a Prowler this season, and the first one not against the Blue Ridge Bobcats, and also the first one at home. So the Prowlers, propelled by that hat trick offensively, also get 24 saves from Reed Cooper, who wasn't too busy for the first 40 minutes of that game. And Port Huron has now won 4 straight games against Indiana, a team that we had talked about early in the season. Well, it's one of those low-level teams that the Prowlers struggle with that has happened sometimes to Port Huron in the past, but they were able to get past the Sentinels fairly convincingly, one of their most convincing wins of the season last Saturday night, as Indiana has just been on another one of those tailspins, outscored 13-4 over their last 4 games, all of those games losses, but Richard Colarusso did score his first pro goal. He also had a fight. We had a few pretty good scraps in that game, but yeah, the Prowlers come up with the 5-1 victory as they continue to roll. They've won 9 of 10, but it hasn't given them too much breathing room from the Topeka Scarecrows. As we look at the Empire Division standings, the Prowlers just 5 points up on Topeka right now. Scarecrows now with 2 games in hand. They were scheduled to come out of last weekend with 2 games in hand, but both of them, both the Prowlers and the Scarecrows, only played 1 game last weekend, as Topeka's second game of the weekend in Monroe was postponed due to inclement weather. Prowlers' Sunday game was supposed to be scheduled in Indiana. That was postponed due to inclement weather, as was another game around the FPHL. So the weather last weekend certainly affecting the schedule, but we'll see if those games do get made up. We do fully expect the Prowlers and Sentinels game to be made up later on this year. But looking down the Empire Division standings, a big series this weekend will be the Danbury Hat-Tricks visiting the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Danbury, with its 2 wins last weekend, got a little bit closer to Blue Ridge. They're now within 3 points of that final playoff spot in the Empire Division, and if they sweep the Bobcats this weekend, that would be huge towards their abilities to make the playoffs. Of course, the Hat-Tricks did receive some tough news earlier this week, and it was announced today on their Facebook page. Their captain, Johnny Ruiz, suffered a stroke. We want to, from the Prowlers, from the PHP Network, we want to give all of our thoughts and prayers and our well wishes to Johnny Ruiz and the Hat-Tricks organization as he starts to recover from that. Ruiz, of course, one of the most notable faces in this league, in the FPHL, has been for a long time. So again, we wish him and the Hat-Tricks organization nothing but the best, and we hope for him a speedy recovery and a full recovery. Very scary, especially for a guy who's fairly young in Ruiz, and obviously very active, a professional athlete. It's very scary. It can certainly happen to anybody. So our thoughts and prayers are with Johnny Ruiz and the Hat-Tricks as Danbury visits the Blue Ridge Bobcats for a couple of big games. The Wolves, meanwhile, have kind of hit that tailspin, and they have fallen a bit out of that race. That was a 3-horse race at one point earlier on this season between the Bobcats, Hat-Tricks, and Wolves, but now it looks like just down to the Bobcats and Hat-Tricks unless Watertown can start to pick up some points and get a little bit closer. Let's take a look at some players to watch here for this game tonight. We start with the Watertown Wolves, and we start with a veteran, Dustin Henning, who celebrated his 500th FPHL game last weekend, the second player in league history behind Joe Pace Jr. to hit that mark. He is the captain of the Watertown Wolves, former captain of the Port Huron Prowlers, not the only 2 teams he has worn the C for in the FPHL. On the other side for the Prowlers, you go from a veteran to a rookie, as Matt Gellerman gets back in the lineup for Port Huron tonight. We will see him for the first time since November the 21st, just his 4th game this season. He does have a goal, and he's a shooter, 10 shots in those 3 games so far this year, but he was activated off the IR today as Austin Federley got put on the IR. So here's how the lines look for the Prowlers this evening. The top line stays the same, the third line stays the same, but Jamie Bucell gets another different winger as Gellerman slots into Reggie Millet's spot. Millet serving a 2-game suspension after last Saturday's game against the Indiana Sentinels. And if you are disappointed by the 2 games for Millet, you should have seen the other guy. Ryan Glazer picked up an 8-game suspension for his actions in that dust-up. So Millette out this weekend. He will be eligible to return when the Prowlers face the Binghamton Black Bears a couple of weeks from now. Must remember that the Prowlers do have next weekend off. So with Austin Federley going on 15-day IR today, that means, and I believe it will be retroactive back to Sunday, that means that he will be out this weekend and next weekend, but he will also be eligible to return when the Prowlers take on the Binghamton Black Bears. So that's good news for the Port Huron Prowlers. But with Federley out of the lineup, Port Huron going with 11 forwards and 5 defensemen tonight, as Brett Morick and Luke James listed as the extra forwards, and a lot of ice time out there for the Port Huron defense. Bailey Huber is going to get the start in between the pipes tonight for the Port Huron Prowlers. As we are still minutes away from puck drop here in Watertown. It was a scheduled 7:30 p.m. puck drop, but it did end up getting pushed back a little bit. But we are ready to go here on the PHP Network. Again, thanks so much for everybody tuning in. You are seeing some kind of history, as the last time we were here in Watertown, I was also the broadcaster. I was back my first year, and we were unable to get a broadcast off. So this is the first time the PHP Network has broadcasted here from Watertown Municipal Arena, and it's the first time in a while that any FPHL team has been able to broadcast from this building. And we're very excited to bring this all to you here tonight. Before this game, I did get the opportunity to chat with Prowlers Associate Head Coach Chris Paulin. Let's hear from Coach.
Back here, it's going to be a tough test for us, so I think we had a good week of prep.
With Prowlers Associate Head Coach Chris Paulin ahead of the series against the Watertown Wolves. Coach, it's been a while since you've been here. And building look any different?
You know, it looks very similar. Guys have been really excited to get back here. It's going to be a tough test for us, so I think we had a good week of prep. I think the guys are ready to go. They know what the job is this weekend.
It has been a while since you've seen these guys. What have you learned during this week of prep about them?
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that can hurt you a few different ways. They do a couple things really, really well. They have some forwards that are pretty quick, can capitalize on mistakes, and they do look to get quick offense. So I think as much as we can use that to our advantage, we have to be mindful of how we want to defend, how we want to track. If we can do those things really well at a high level consistently, I think we can keep them off the rush and keep them away from some of their strengths. Special teams have been a point where they've kind of struggled a bit this year. What can you do to exploit them in those situations? Well, I think we have a really good plan power play-wise, and obviously, you know, that's the chess match that always evolves throughout a weekend, but I think we have a good plan coming in, and then their power play, you know, they've hurt a couple teams recently within the last 5 games from very specific ways, so I think we have a good idea of how we want to defend. We know the rules and principles, and if guys are sharp, if the communication's really good, and then obviously the goaltending needs to be sharp, we have a good chance to keep them off the board. All right, thank you, Coach. You got it.
And that was Prowlers Associate Head Coach Chris Paulin earlier today as the Prowlers took morning skate here in Watertown. Referees have hit the ice. We still are awaiting both teams. I wish I could tell you who's in the starting lineup for the Prowlers, but I have not got an update on that either. We should be able to get that to you by the end of the national anthems. And before we get to our puck drop, the Prowlers coming into this game, in case you are just joining us, second in the Empire Division. They got their 20th win of the season last Saturday against the Indiana Sentinels, up to 58 points. And for the Wolves, they have losers of 4 straight games, down in 6th in the Empire, 35 points this season. Prowlers trying to just maintain that second spot in the Empire Division. A couple of wins this weekend will go a long way towards that, as they are being chased down by the Topeka Scarecrows, who are 5 points behind but do have a couple of games in hand. So we'll see if the Prowlers can get it done here tonight. We will have the opening drop of the puck and much more coming up next here on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Here on Prowlers Hockey, presented by Proper Developers. Initial shot. We're here on Prowlers. Well, the Prowlers and Meyer are combining for the Goals for Good program. For every goal the Prowlers score this season, Meyer will donate money to help hungry families in need in our community. So far this season, the Prowlers and Meyer have helped deliver over 6,100 meals to families in need. Back here at Watertown Municipal Arena, you see the Prowlers out there on the ice, just waiting to be joined by the Watertown Wolves. There are a few Prowler jerseys here in the crowd. They're actually those exhibit giveaway jerseys that I see down here in the stand. So cool to see some fans able to travel here. Prowlers fans have traveled well, especially this season. We've seen them just about every building we've been in. So that's always exciting to see, as they are getting set to announce the starters for the Watertown Wolves, who are just now hitting the ice here at Watertown Municipal Arena. I've already mentioned to you, Bailey Huber is going to be the starting goaltender for the Port Huron Prowlers tonight. We hopefully will see in just a moment who will be the starter for the Watertown Wolves. Prowlers on the road here this weekend. Again, this is their final games until Valentine's Day weekend, February 13th and 14th, against the Binghamton Black Bears at McMorrin Place. And that should be an exciting one, because that will be Star Wars night as well as the Valentine's Day game. So you can get your tickets to those games, phprowlers.com/tickets. We did reveal the Star Wars jerseys, so check those out on the Prowlers social media channels. We're very excited to get those out to you guys, and hopefully everybody enjoyed seeing those. They will be auctioned off after that game on February the 13th. As the Wolves finish up their starting lineups. And we'll get to tonight's national anthem. We'll take you down to ice level for the rest of the pregame ceremonies.
Head coach of the Watertown Wolves, Justin Coachman. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask you to rise and remove your caps. Ladies and gentlemen, this past Tuesday, Danbury Hat-Tricks captain Johnny Ruiz suffered a large stroke. The Watertown Wolves, Port Huron Prowlers, and the entire Federal Prospects Hockey League wish the best of health to Johnny and a speedy recovery. Fans, Johnny is one of the good guys in the Federal Prospects Hockey League. Get well soon, Johnny. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the ice Northern New York's own retired Master Sergeant T.J. Murphy with the singing of our national anthem. what so proudly we hear at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Good luck, everybody.
That is tonight's national anthem from Watertown Municipal Arena. Prowlers and Wolves getting set to take the ice and battle. Let's take a look at our Orthopedic Associates starting lineup for the Port Huron Prowlers. It will be Matt Graham's line getting the start this evening. And then the Prowlers, of course, with 5 defensemen, they elect to start with Alex Johnson and Tim Organ. And Bailey Huber is between the pipes, the rookie for the Prowlers tonight. That takes us to our Harrison Metal Fab starting goaltending matchup. It'll be Huber and Brendan Colgan. The veteran against the rookie. Huber coming into this game 4-4, .332 and an .870 save percentage. Colgan 6-12 and 3, .465 goals against average and an .879 save percentage. Face-off at center ice will be between Matt Graham and Trevor Newman. And we are underway here tonight from Watertown. Back behind the net, Tim Organ ahead to R2 Hakela on to Graham. Left wing side, it's Alex Johnson. Throwing on the brakes in the corner. And it's fired out of the zone. Prowlers are actually starting on a power play here. Oh, my apologies. A warm-up violation called against the Wolves, so Prowlers getting the man advantage started right off the bat. Here's Graham in the corner. Up ahead to Alex Johnson. D to D, Organ. Down low, Lockney. Lockney in front, tipped on. And a save made by Colgan. He will hang on for a whistle and a face-off. Again, a warm-up violation called against the Watertown Wolves to start this one off. Prowlers power play went 2 for 6 last Saturday against the Indiana Sentinels and has an early chance. It's Tyler Dolina in the box. Favaro shot stopped by Colgan with the goal stick. Prowlers have the other unit out there. Puck got past Blake Anderson. Back forward was Favaro. Connor Bazal back for Favaro. This unit, Bazal, Favaro, Anderson, Bucell, and Price. Favaro for Bazal, gets to the net, and he fanned on the shot. And it's clapped down ice by Brad Reiter, former Motor City Rocker. 41 seconds left on the Prowlers power play. Blake Anderson On the right wing side, steps in, drops it back to Graham, down low, but that was cut off and sent all the way down. Prowlers trying to work back in. Hakala to the net, and he just slipped it wide. Hakala sweeps it out in front. Johnson shot stop. Rebound available. Lockney swung and missed. And it slid out of the zone. 2-on-1 for Watertown. Klink with Delina out of the box. Here's Delina's shot. Tried to go back towards Klink, I think, and just couldn't connect. Hakala back to Tim Organ. He'll swing behind the net. Rink wide feed, cut off by Chernyuk. Steps in, and his shot off of Organ's stick and up out of play. Konstantin Chernyuk, wearing number 88, acquired from the PD Ice Cats for Dom Della Civita back in early January. 6 points in 6 games so far as a Wolf from the back end. He has the puck now. Trying to go across the blue line. It didn't get cleanly to Cole Ouellette, number 2. He's back on it now. Ouellette gets to the red line, wires it in. Parsons tried to chip it back up the boards, pops out in front, and Luke James rescues it for the Prowlers. Newman slams on the brakes, got it to Chase Dabari, number 13. Stick handles his way in, stops up, tried to slide it down deep. That was interrupted. Bizal, pass out to Mork, has Gellerman breaking. Got it back to Bizal, 3-on-2 for the Prowlers. They hurry, Mork kept it on net. Colgan the save, and that was pushed right back through the crease. Dabari, left wing side to Powers. Cross corner dumped, sticked away by Huber. Bizal goes off the glass and all the way down. Bucell hustling after it. He one-hands it around the net towards Gellerman. Battling with Dustin Henning, the Wolves captain. Here comes Henning. Muscled off by Lockney as he got it deep. Chris Corrigan spins in the corner. Reverse down and around behind the net. Shevers had his stick lifted, and up comes Graham with Lockney. Graham over towards Lockney, gets to the net. Lockney stopped by Brendan Colgan. Filipov chasing after the puck in the Prowlers' end. Swung around the net by Reiter, up to the point, one-timer, whistled wide. Ian McDonald at the near point, all the way back down behind the net. It's all the way through for Klink. Klink sharp angle try, fought off by Huber. Lockney looking for an exit. He has Favoro. Ferraro takes a look, and he dumps it in deep. Took a hard hit from McDonald as he did. Ian McDonald back for it, watched by DeCumbus. Zimmerman ahead, cut off by Price. Walking in, Price on the backhand, stopped by Colgan. Price back on it, in front looking for Anderson. Puck popped up in the air as McDonald had Anderson tied up. Price in on the forecheck. It slips ahead to Klink. Got it to Darian Bencic. And Bencic slides it in to the Prowlers zone. Blake Anderson looking to bounce it out. And now it's Parsons to Anderson. All by himself. His team in the midst of a change. Anderson walks the red line. He'll get it deep. Chernyuk backpedals. Over to the far side. James finished his check on Chernyuk. Meanwhile, Dabari couldn't get the indirect feed to Bencic. Dabari looking to turn up ice. He gets the red line, gets the Prowler blue. Before he had the puck taken away by Tim Organ. Ouellette lost it. Here comes Bazal with Gellerman. Bazal shot over top of the net. Colgan may have gone a piece. And now Dabari the other direction. 3 Prowlers back. Dabari lost the handle. Gellerman takes a look, leaves it for Organ. Up to Bazal at the Prowler blue line. Favaro looking to wheel ahead. Got it up to Hakala. Prowlers in with numbers. Hakala with a shot off a body and up out of play. We'll take our first time out. Just over 6 minutes gone in period one. Prowlers up 6-1 on shots, but have yet to find the game's first goal.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. I'll take. Come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Hello, I'm home. There he is. What is happening? Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch? Spicy. Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite. Can you stop? Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack Wrap is back.
Back here in Watertown, still scoreless between the Prowlers and the Wolves. You may have heard it before the game, but I want to reiterate again. Earlier this week, Hat-Tricks captain Johnny Ruiz suffered a stroke, and he is now recovering from that, and we want to wish him all the best in a speedy recovery, sending all of our thoughts and prayers to Ruiz and the Hat-Tricks organization. Guy who's been around the league a long time. So again, we wish all the best to him and hopefully a speedy and full recovery for one of the veterans of the FPHL, Johnny Ruiz. Prowlers getting set for an offensive zone face-off to Brendan Colgan's left. They put a lot of shots on, still searching for their first goal. Graham won the face-off back. Ben Brockway looking towards the net. He'll send it down deep and all the way around. Hakala battling in the corner. Roger Powers took the puck momentarily. Pushed back around to the far side. Poked back in by Brockway. Good play to keep the Prowlers with possession. Powers up to Shevers, and he'll escape the zone. Has Corgan with him. Huber stops the puck behind his net. Push it back over towards the far side. Delina grabs it there. Down low to Shevers. Took a bump from Brockway. Those two fought last year when Shevers was a member of HC Venom. They were then the Hudson Valley Venom. That was very early on in the season. Lockney looking towards Alex Johnson. That went through his stick, and the Prowlers have to regroup. Johnson walking in, takes the shot, pushed it wide. Rizal tried to get it back down deep. Instead, out comes Watertown. Adam Zimmerman gets the Prowler blue line. Working on Bucell, a forward. Zimmerman tried to drive to the net. Put it out in front, nobody home. Favaro looks for a lead pass. He has Bucell working in. Bucell lost the puck as he tried to dangle around Zimmerman. Bucell back on it. Turning in the corner. Able to slip past a hip check from Zimmerman. Poked it over to Blake Anderson. At the top, Parsons, a wrister. Didn't get all the way through. That hit McDonald. Filipov launched it out looking for Klink at the Prowler blue line. Didn't get cleanly through to him. That's something these Wolves like to do, is those long lead passes. Watch for them to try and stretch the ice. Prowlers will have to be wary. FM Michigan dropped it back. And Michigan gets it back. One of the top players for this Watertown club. 5-game point streak, has points in 11 of his last 12, does Michigan. Benchich gave it to Klink, and a shot gloved by Bailey Huber. Another one of the most dangerous players on the ice wearing blue, Stephen Klink. He leads the Wolves with 21 goals and 42 points, but just one assist over his last 3 games. So certainly Klink will be motivated to get himself back on the score sheet. Puck drops behind the net. Tim Organ tried to float it ahead towards Graham off of his back. Puck still in the Prowlers zone. Now it leaks out. Lockney trying to kick it up to Hakala. Nobody can take control until Newman does. This pass hit Graham. Chernyuk across the ice. Dabari trying to walk back to the near side. Gets to the red line. Graham poked him at the blue line. And here's Dabari back with the puck. Send it out in front. Huber looking for it, and they score. Trevor Newman following up the play. They will put the Wolves on the board first. Dabari able to find that puck on the other side. Huber made the first save, but he lost sight of the puck. Newman was able to find it. So you take another look on Aiden Vision here. Nobody knew where that puck except for Trevor Newman, who has his third goal of the season. He snaps a 10-game point drought. Icing called here against the Prowlers right off the drop. As Benchich and Powers will pick up the assists on the goal by Newman. Jamie Bucell's line out there to try and escape the zone. He'll draw with Chris Corrigan. Off the draw, Powers winds and claps it off the back wall. And Huber scoops it up with his blocker. Hang on. Johnson and Shevers having a little conversation.
Watertown goal. His third goal of the season, scored by number 55.
This time the faceoff will come to Huber's right, and both teams will change up their forwards. Matt Graham's line back out there for the Prowlers, and the top line for Watertown, Klink, Mishkin, and Filipov. Really the three guys you have to be most worried about defensively for the Prowlers. Lucas Lockney escapes his end, got it to Graham. Tried the return feed. And up comes Klink, got it ahead to Filipov. Return to Klink. Dropped it off, Filipov makes a move, got to the slot, but hit the back glass with the shot. Powers pushed it back down the boards. Mishkin down low, Klink all alone. Tried to cut to the net, and Huber had to make the save. Hakala one-hands it along. Powers pinches in deep. Now Klink had it taken by Graham, and he'll skate it out. Graham gets to the Watertown blue line, across to Lockney. Had to catch it on his backhand as the pass was behind him. Now up comes Powers. Dumped it right in, hit Brian Parsons, former Watertown Wolf. He clangs it off the glass, and it lands for Price with a step to the net. Price had it taken off his stick by Newman. Popped back out in front, Price alone. He scores! Bobby Price, the hottest stick in Port Huron, has tied it. Beautiful pass out front. And after Price couldn't get the first one to go, Tecumseh swept it out in front. How about four Wolves puck watching behind the net, and Price outweighted Brendan Colgan. And a team-high 15th of the year for Bobby Price. He now has points in 9 of his last 10.
His 15th goal of the season, scored by number 29, Bobby Price.
Puck goes all the way down. Icing waved also. Colgan out to play it. Benchich sent it up the boards. Newman played it to the middle of the ice. Tecumseh trying to take control. Instead, it's Dabari who's trying to get away from Blake Anderson. Bazal pitches in on the near side boards to grab that puck. Anderson pops it out towards Bazal, just slid it wide. Morick and Bazal battling for it. Bazal to the line. Parsons feathers it through, punched out by Colgan. Zimmerman with a high flip out, glove down by Parsons. He'll go back to Johnson. Ahead to Bazal. Trying to sweep it towards James, passes behind him, but it works as well as a dump. Corrigan gets it over to Shevers into the offensive zone. Rising shot, hit the glass. Pitching in was Olette, fresh off the bench. Now Parsons looking ahead. Up towards Lockney, tipped in. Sliding right in on Colgan, he'll play it over to the boards. Olette right up the wall into Matt Graham, but he couldn't handle it cleanly. Graham played it over towards his bench, right where his team was changing. And I think that will cause some trouble for the Prowlers. Delay of game penalty coming up. And the Wolves will go to their first power play when we come back. All tied up at 1 here in Watertown.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Back here in Watertown, tied up at 1 goal apiece between the Prowlers and the Wolves. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. As our crew back in, not our McMorran Place studios, down in Fraser. We have brand new studios to show you down there in Fraser. Looking forward to it, for you guys to see those when the first intermission report comes up here on the PHP Network. Still a while from that. We do want to tell you, speaking of new things, we will in just a moment tell you about one of our new partners, this Top Cheese Wax. We'll get to that though after our next whistle as play continues. FM Michigan tried to float it over to the near side, got to Filipov. Chernyuk retreats back. Olette ahead to Filipov. Prowlers trapping in the neutral zone, forces Filipov to dump it in deep, and that is an icing against Watertown.
The lucky program number will win you a free bag of Choco Pops for the Choco Pop game during our second.
Get an edge in your game with Top Cheese Stick Wax, the official wax of the Port Huron Prowlers. Use code Prowlers15 for 15% off at topcheesehockeywax.com. You can also find Top Cheese Hockey Wax in the Prowlers team store. Face off deep in Wolves territory between Blake Anderson and FM Michigan. Chernyuk sweeps it around to the far side to Klink. Bounced it off the boards. Filipov has Michigan breaking, got it to him. Michigan forced to the outside. Gave it to the trailer. Filipov just floated it wide. Klink tried to push it back up top. It's in Chernyuk's skates. Tacuma's trying to get to it. Klink dropped it back. Olette ahead to Filipov. Klink skates in. And it's taken neatly off his stick by Alex Johnson as he tried to dangle. Prowlers move up on a counter. Price had it poked away just as neatly by Chernyuk. Delayed offsides here against Port Huron. They're off in the midst of a change. Up comes Powers. Dumps it in, cross corner. Comes to the middle of the ice. Parsons plays it over to Graham. Sent it right back. Ryan Parsons, headman feed, tipped in by Luke James, who scored his first pro goal in this building a couple of years ago as a member of the Elmira River Sharks. There's a centering pass, and Lockney just missed wide. I did see Elmira River Sharks jerseys for sale at the Wolves team store. I'll have to ask Luke James if he wants to pick one up. Here is James. Dropping it back for Graham. Tried to stuff it. Puck still in the crease. And it's batted out. Here come the Wolves 2-on-2. Dabari working on Organ. Dabari gets back to the puck all the way around the net. Blanketed by Tim Organ. Changes directions, or he's closed off by Lockney. Graham played it to an area. Turnaround try by Bencic. Knocked down by Lockney. I think that was a nice glove save by Lucas Lockney. Bencic goes over to Zimmerman. Looked ahead, gave it away. Bazal shot, missed the net high. Bucell after it. Bazal in the corner, trying to get away from McDonald. Gellerman chases after the puck behind the net. Trying to sweep it out in front. Comes all the way to the point. Brockway back down low. Bazal let it go through as he took a check from Zimmerman. Corrigan off the boards, out of the zone. And Alex Johnson retreats back to his own end. Ahead to Bucell, 3-on-2. Bucell looking in front and couldn't connect with Bazal. Then Johnson played it off the outside of the net. Chernyuk gets the red line. Trying to get through Johnson to get to that puck on the other side. Johnson didn't let him. And here comes Favaro with a nice move. Favaro working against Corrigan. And he gets it deep. Colgan plays it back up this way. Favaro right in front. Anderson turnaround try. Hit the man right in front of him. That was Powers. This one sent all the way down and will go just past Huber for an icing. And we will take our final timeout of period one. Still tied up at 1 between the Prowlers and the Wolves.
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys, here's a game plan. LJ, you start with bananas. B-Way.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is gonna melt. We gotta hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Back here in Watertown, still 1-1 between the Prowlers and the Wolves. Port Huron more than doubling up Watertown in shots on goal so far, 11-5 in that category. Prowlers 1-1 against the Wolves this season, making their first trip to Watertown since April of 2023. Prowlers gave up 1 goal that weekend to the Wolves total, as Brian Tollew and Ian Wallace got the wins. Ian Wallace got the shutout in the last game of that weekend. And Liam Freeborn had a hat trick in the second game of that weekend as well. Bobby Price cycling it down for Blake Anderson. Back to Price, who has a goal so far. He backhanded it wide. Price had a hat trick in the Prowlers last game, as Favaro flung it on net, stopped by Colgan. Powers up the near side boards. Corrigan pushes it out of the zone. Oregon puts it right back in off of Colgan's blocker and up out of play. So we'll get an offensive zone faceoff coming for the Prowlers with 4:05 left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. Want to give another shout out to our watch party at Wings Etc. Hope you all are enjoying the game. If you have not been to a watch party at Wings Etc., there's no better way to see a Prowlers road game. So get on down there tomorrow night. Prowlers and Wolves will do it again, 7:30 p.m. here on the PHP Network. R2 Hakela steps in front of Steven Klink to keep the puck alive for Port Huron. FM Michigan trying to go up the near side, got it to Filipov. Turns, slides it to McDonald. He gets the red line, rims it all the way around. Lockney able to chop it out. Zimmerman back in behind the net. Johnson flags it down. Up to Lockney. Try to slide it to an area. Johnson skating to it. He gets there. Johnson for Hakela. Back to Johnson. Over to Favaro. Unloads the gun. And Colgan has it in the glove. A howitzer from Nick Favaro. Gloved by Brendan Colgan. As Favaro found some nice open area there on the far side of the zone during that rush. Face off to Colgan's right. One back by the Wolves. Chernyuk for Benčić. Sent it ahead, but right to Favaro. He sends Anderson back in. Anderson drops it. Price over towards the net. Couldn't find a teammate. Chernyuk takes over. Benčić, rink-wide feed, knocked away by Blake Anderson. Gave it to DeCumbis, streaking in. DeCumbis' shot off the outside of the net. Tabari gets to that puck on the half wall. Tried to hand it off. Blake Anderson made that an adventure. Prowlers working it around. Parsons steps into it, and it just whistled wide. Newman with a high flip out of the zone. Flagged down by DeCumbis, on to Anderson. He takes the shot right into Colgan's stomach, and Brendan Colgan will hang on for a whistle and a face-off. Face-off to Colgan's left. As Bucell has his line out there, under 2.5 to go in period number 1. Dustin Henning off the glass, did get out. Matt Gellerman tosses it right back in. Colgan behind the net. Swings it this way, right into Bucell. Back down to Bizot, taps it right back where it came from. Bizot behind the net. Up high it goes, Brockway. Tipped, saved by Colgan. Now Gellerman working back in. Muscled off by Dustin Henning, the Wolves captain number 54. Rimmed around, Filipov gets it out of the zone. Favaro right back in again. Wolves work back out once more. Michigan, left wing side. Benčić's shot blocked by Favaro. And Huber jumps on top of it for a whistle and a face-off. Coming up in the first intermission report here on the PHP Network, we'll take a look at our most recent edition of Around the Empire. Also look at some storylines from around the league, including a lengthy suspension, out-of-town scores, and much more. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network. Alex Johnson tried to toss the puck ahead, hit his own man, who was kicked out by Favaro. McDonald puts it right back deep. Johnson around the boards, cut off by Dabari. Newman swept it towards Dabari. He couldn't bring it in cleanly. Favaro off the glass out of the zone. Zimmerman back for it, watched by Lockney in the final minute of period 1. Benčić up through the red line and all the way around the boards. Graham left it in an area, scooped up by Watertown. Chernyuk walks in and shoots, knocked down by Huber. Rebound grab by Favaro. 35 seconds left to go in period 1. Favaro swings it ahead towards Morick. Colgan plays it up the near side boards to Dabari. He left it there for Newman. Those two ran into each other. Puck was available for a moment. Filipov goes cross corner. James pinning it there. 15 seconds left to go in period one. Klink, one-timer, didn't get all the way through. Morick looking for one last chance, but his pass off of Organ's stick. Now Klink with one last opportunity. Shot off of Parsons' stick and up out of play. And that will do it for period number one. Parsons and Klink getting into it a little bit. And now a whole crowd gathers. Everybody will have to be separated here before both teams go to their rooms. Actually, I think there's 1 second left here. They will have to put one more second back on the clock here. One last face-off, I believe. Looks to be the case here. They put 2 seconds up on the clock.
2 seconds.
Puck is outside of the Prowlers zone, so it doesn't matter too much. Just another chance for a face-off win. Bucell gets it. And that will do it for the Munger Physical Therapy first period. Prowlers win the shots battle 16-8. But both teams get a goal. Trevor Newman for the Wolves, followed by Bobby Price for the Prowlers. And it is 1-1 through 20 minutes of play. Quinn Shevers having some extra words for the Prowlers before he heads off to the locker room. He'll have to be escorted to the room. And now Shevers heading that direction. Tonight's referees, William Lyons and Justin Crawford. The linesmen, Will Fannin and Steve Cook. Everybody separated. They're heading off the ice. Brian Parsons having one last word with the referee before he steps off. Once again, coming up in the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network. We will go around the Empire, check out all the highlights from last weekend's games in the Empire Division. We'll also take a look at some storylines from around the league, the out-of-town scores, and much more. It's all coming up right here on the PHP Network. Well, have you checked out all the new gear in the Prowlers team store? There are some sick new hoodies that you can find in there. Still a few Dalton J. pucks available, signed by the man himself. So you can still get those. You need to make another order to get some more of those in there. So those are still available. It's open all weekend long or online anytime at shop.phprowlers.com. You can scan that QR code on your screen to be taken directly to the online store. Once again, that's shop.phprowlers.com, or check out the Prowlers team store located on the southwest end of McMorran Place Arena. Prowlers and Wolves tied up at a goal apiece. We'll be right back here on the PHP Network.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry? Howie's!
Congratulations on your engagement again, man. You know, you should get some life insurance.
I never really thought about that. How would I do that?
We can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. Congratulations on getting married, man. Have you gotten a house?
We just got one, actually, yeah.
Well, if you want, we can help you out with life insurance at Zach Egan State Farm to cover your mortgage. Is Olin a year old now?
He is.
Wow. Have you guys got life insurance set up on him yet?
I haven't even thought about it yet.
Oh.
How would I go about that?
Well, we can help you with that at Zach Egan State Farm. High five?
Yeah, hon, we should have gotten life insurance years ago.
Hey, Ken. We've actually got a policy for people your age at Zach Egan State Farm. Give us a call.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns, serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Week in the Empire Division, it's time for Around the Empire.
Let's start in the Snake Pit in Monroe as the Scarecrows were making a visit. First period, 1-0 Mocs. Corey Checo makes the play happen, and he sets up Trevor Graspy. And that one all tied up midway through the first. Go to the second period, Topeka on the power play, but here come the Mocs. Austin Albrecht walks in and fires to put as Monroe continued to build a lead. Andrew Ballant's empty netter was the second shorty of the night for the Mocs, who win their 17th straight game. The second game of this series was postponed due to weather. That means we skip right to the Black Bears welcoming in the PD Ice Cats Division Veterans Memorial Arena. Second period on Friday, it's 2-1 PD, but Jacob Schenkar is able to put home this centering pass for his first goal since October, and it ties things up. Still tied in the third, Binghamton power play, Mac Jansen delays, walks in and fires, and puts the Bears in front. Then, another Black Bears power play, Dan Stone with a rip, makes it 5-3. Black Bears use the man advantage to pull ahead in the third and double up the Ice Cats. Moving on to the next night, less than 4 minutes in, Alexander Leitkov, the former Danbury hat trick, able to finish off the early rush, make it 1-0 Ice Cats. Later in the first, Patrick Marcinkovic with some nice stick handling to get to the slot, and he rips one home. It's 2-0 PD, third period, still 2-0. Houston Wilson, and then Dominic Marcinkovic. How about the other one? As the Ice Cats shut out the Black Bears. First time Binghamton has ever been shut out at Visions Veterans Memorial Arena. Parker Rutherford made 35 saves to help his team earn the split. The Thunderbirds and Bobcats battled for the second straight weekend. Skip to the third on Friday night in Wytheville, tied at 1. Boris Babbitt came out to play it. Almost got caught there, but then he gets caught on the second shot. That was Dustin Jessel from way downtown, his second of the game. Catches Babbitt out of his goal crease. Less than 2 minutes later, Bobcats on the power play. Michael Mercurio, Nikia Kazira, backdoor to Nick Stuckless. tic-tac-toe passing, and the Cats extend their lead. But then here come the Birds. Roman Kramer walks in deep, finds Corey Cunningham right in front. But Twin City never found an equalizer, and the Cats held on for the win. It was a wild game the next night in Winston-Salem. Third period, 2-1 Bobcats. There's the hit by Robin Erickson on Michael Mania. Mania is down. He was hurt. Erickson got a 2-minute minor penalty. But a few minutes later, the Thunderbirds wanted revenge. Caleb Melanson goes right after Robin Erickson. Melanson getting a 5-minute major for fighting. Erickson got no penalty. So the Bobcats get the man advantage. And on that ensuing power play, Carson Andrioli with the one-timer doubles the Blue Ridge lead. It's 3-1, and it looked like the Birds had kind of screwed themselves a little bit with that penalty. But here they come, under 4 to go. Kramer walks in and makes it a 1-goal game. Now they have a chance. Extra attacker out with 90 seconds to go. Joshua Bell's shot tipped in by Jan Salak, and that sent the game to overtime.
Controlled by the Bobcats in the overtime. Here comes Jasso looking to win it. Crosses, waiting to shoot. Babbitt falls down back behind the net. It's empty, and the Thunderbirds create a turnover. 2-on-1, maybe a 2-on-2. Zach White has it, shoots it just wide of the net. That one got blocked and deflected. The Bobcats give it away. Roman Kramer across. The shot in front. He scores! Roman Kramer wins the game in overtime. 4-3 the final.
Kendall Grayson on the Twin City Thunderbirds TV. Bobcats coughed up 2 points and lost Dustin Jesso for 1 game due to his actions following the OT goal. Moving on to the hat tricks and Wolves getting back together. Second period in Danbury, it's 1-0 Watertown, and they work it over to Johnny Ruiz, who is automatic from that left wing circle. It's all tied up. Less than 3 minutes later, here comes the rookie, Maxim Maziarchuk. What a beauty for his first pro goal. Hat tricks in the lead. Well, he skipped to the final minutes of regulation. Here comes Effa Mishkin. He'd eventually tap this puck home. It was reviewed for a long while, but it stood and it sent the game to a shootout. Into the third round of the skills competition, still scoreless. Anton Rubtsov slips it down low along the ice. That meant Mishkin had to convert to keep the game alive.
And now it lies with Effa Mishkin. Save! Hat tricks win. Kyle Penton is the hero.
Patrick Grunberg on the Hat Tricks YouTube channel. The Wolves found a way to get a point, but the Hat Tricks prevailed in the skills competition. They headed to Watertown the next night. First period, scoreless, and the puck popped out to Jordan Crom. Less than 2 minutes later, Noah Robinson to Austin Belfay on the 2-on-1, and it's 2-0 Hat Tricks. Second period, 2-1 now. Belfay hard in front of the net, and he puts home the rebound as the Hat Tricks rolled on the road to earn 5 of a possible 6 points in the weekend sweep. Wrapping things up in the Midwest with the Sentinels and Prowlers on Saturday. Start late in the first. Matt Graham in front to Bobby Price. Prowlers finally break through after all kinds of offense in the opening 20. Second period, it's 3-0 now. Price short-handed with a long-range shot, pops the water bottle. Not only did he pop the bottle, he broke it. Linesman had to pick up all the pieces of the top of John Werber's bottle. 4-0 Prowlers, still that score in the third. Here's Price, a power play goal to complete the hat trick. Prowlers roll as Price's hat trick leads the offense in a 5-1 home win. Second half of the home in Indiana was postponed due to weather. Taking a look at the standings, Scarecrows are now 5 points back of the second spot with 2 games in hand on the Prowlers. Hat tricks are now within striking distance of the Bobcats for the final playoff spot, while the Wolves are slipping out of that race. That makes the points that much bigger in Watertown this weekend. Second period action between the Prowlers and Wolves is coming up on the PHP Network.
And that was everything that happened last week in the Empire Division. Out in Watertown, Port Huron, Watertown tied at 1. Bobby Price scoring for the Prowlers, Trevor Newman for the Watertown Wolves. We'll take a quick break, come back live from Watertown with Wills. We go on with the first intermission right here on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Here on Prowlers Hockey, presented by Proper 12 Version. Initial shot of the Port Huron Prowlers. Back here at Watertown Municipal Arena, through 20 minutes of play, the Prowlers and the Wolves are tied it up at a goal apiece. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for tuning in with us tonight. I've already shouted out the watch party at Wings, etc. I have to shout out the watch party going on at my own house back in Port Huron. Austin Federley did not make the trip due to his IR stint, so now he's hosting a bunch of people. Those people better stay out of my room, by the way. But hopefully they're all enjoying the game back there in Port. Hopefully you're all enjoying the game back in Port Huron, watching us do something that I wasn't sure before the season we would be able to do, is stream a game here, but it's working. So appreciate you all tuning in and sticking with us throughout tonight's broadcast. Before we move on, let's take a look at some storylines going on around the FPHL. And we start with one that began at McMorrin Place all the way back last Saturday when the Prowlers and the Indiana Sentinels faced off. Reggie Millette got 2 games. Ryan Glazer got 8, the second longest suspension in the FPHL this season after Elias Thompson's 10-game suspension that he accrued as a scratch, which that's a whole story, which we won't get into right now. But Glazer kicked Reggie Millette during an incident, and he gets 8 games. Millette ended up having to get stitches on his hand. He's out this weekend, of course, with a 2-game suspension, but Glazer will return, guess when? When the Prowlers face the Sentinels next at the end of February. Thunderbirds picked up Chris Mott from the Athens Rock Lobsters, split this season between the Lobsters and the SPHL. Mott was a Commissioner's Cup champion with the Binghamton Black Bears last season. And the Danbury Hat-Tricks had a couple of players in separate trades. Andre Simonchuk, the big defenseman from the Blue Ridge Bobcats, and Zach Demaray, who began the season with the Binghamton Black Bears, was traded to Baton Rouge, did not report to Baton Rouge, but now he will head to Danbury, and that's where his rights will be. We'll see if he reports there and will play for the Hat-Tricks. Keeping it around the FPHL, we take a look at our out-of-town scoreboard presented by Love After Hours, Boutique and Boudoir. Plenty of other action going on around the league. And we start with 40 minutes down in Binghamton, and the Twin City Thunderbirds have a 3-2 lead over the Black Bears. Mac Jansen has both for the Bears, but Josh LaBelle, Zach White, and Roman Kramer have scored for the Birds. The Black Bears lost their last home game in a shutout. The first shutout at home in franchise history for the Black Bears. And they are in danger of another shutout in their, or another loss in their own barn. Again, they are getting set for period number 3, and it is 3-2 Birds.
Yeah, because
continuing on, the Ice Cats and the Rock
Lobsters
are still scoreless. Late
I'm just going to put my boots on because
in
there's
Athens. The Hat-Tricks and Bobcats have just begun period number 2. They are tied up at 2 goals apiece. Maxim Maziarchuk and Jordan Crom scored for Danbury, but The game was tied with goals from Daniel Martin and Nick Stuckless. Biloxi Breakers 2-2 with the Columbus River Dragons as teams are hitting the ice here in Watertown. We'll speed run the rest of this. Indiana and Topeka are scoreless, laying the first in Topeka. And the Monroe Moccasins have a goal from Hagen Moe, the only one there against the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Outtown scores presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. Let's also take a look at the Gunther Graphics game stats from that opening 20 minutes of play. See where we stand. It is a 1-1 game here between the Prowlers and the Wolves. Prowlers up on shots 16-8. Watertown didn't end up, or the Prowlers didn't end up getting a penalty when I thought there would be a delay. There are too many men on the ice midway through that period. Didn't end up being a penalty, so still the only power play belonging to Port Huron, and they are 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Getting set for the Hungry Howie's second period right here on the PHP Network. Team switch ends. Matt Graham and FM Michigan will take the face-off to begin period number 2. And we are underway. Alex Johnson gets the first touch for the Prowlers, but his pass didn't find a teammate. Goal hustles back in and bounces a shot wide. Stephen Klink working down the half wall. Filipov tried to sweep it out in front. Good stick by Huber to keep that puck below the goal line. Matt Graham cuts to the middle, works in. Off to the outside, Lockney had his shot stopped by Colgan, and he had to cover it up with Artu Hakala and Matt Graham both heading towards the crease to try and find a potential rebound. Both teams will make some early changes here in this second period. Ryder and Anderson for this face-off. Ryder won it back. Powers up to Corgan. Tried a rink-wide feed that was up in the air. Shevers trying to get to it. Pulled off his stick by Price. Shevers still battling for it as he lost his stick. Price now heads up the ice. Dropped it back for Favaro. Saw Shevers heading towards him and escapes from behind his net. Blake Anderson slams on the brakes all the way across. Price cuts in and he hit the post. DeCumbis has to regroup back at center as that puck slid on the fresh ice. Bobby Price that close to getting his second goal this game. Bavaro taps it ahead to DeCumbis. Dumped in, Powers and Anderson chasing after it. Colgan will play it away from both of them to Dustin Henning on the near side. Headman feed is for Bencic. Johnson collects the dump. Escapes away from Darian Bencic. Johnson off the glass, out of the zone. Not out of the zone, pardon me, as Ian McDonald able to glove it down. Karams to the near side. Parsons slips it ahead towards Bazal. Zimmerman stepped up. Loose puck, Parsons gets to it, and he enters the offensive zone. Gellerman, right wing side, couldn't find the target. Gellerman again behind the net. Slid it towards the front, and it was cut off by Zimmerman. Parsons kept the puck in at the line. Gellerman on goal, sticked to the corner by Brendan Colgan. Bucell behind the net. Working up high. Bucell turns towards the cage, let a shot go off of the knob of the stick of Brendan Colgan. Now Lockney looking in front off of Colgan's paddle, and Dabari able to bounce it out of the zone and relieve some of the pressure. Here's Bencic with a long-range shot that hit Parsons. Graham waits for it on the near side boards. Got it to Hakala. Now for Lockney into the offensive end. Lockney spins back, looking in front towards Graham. He was tied up. Wolves try and stretch it on. They have Dabari, and he's stopped by Huber, who covers up as Chase Dabari tried to fake the shot and slide it 5-hole. And Bailey Huber got the pads down to stop him. Face-off will come to Huber's right. Off to the boards. Shot on net. Stopped by Huber, and he'll cover up. And we'll try it again. Bobby Price drops it back for Favaro. Rink wide. It goes to Johnson. Streaking up. Anderson tried to feed it across. Came back to him. Down towards the Cumbus, but that was cut off by Klink. Loose puck in the neutral zone. Johnson had it poked away by Klink. Has Filipov with him. Klink. Filipov. And the pass just handcuffed him, and he couldn't get it with his stick. Now Anderson skating out with DeCumbus. He gets to the red line. Anderson steps around to Ouellette. Turns back, tried to feed it all the way across to James, who's fresh off the bench. Now it's Michigan working on Parsons, who neatly poked that puck away from him. Up to the point, Henning on his backhand floats it down low, and it's snagged by Bailey Huber. He'll get a whistle and a face-off. 16-13 left to go in period 2. Ryder and Moore getting set for this face-off to Huber's right. Ryder won it back. Shot from the point, blocked by Bucell, up out of play. We'll try it again from the same spot. Morrick and James getting an opportunity here with Jamie Bucell. Prowlers going with 11 forwards and 5 defensemen tonight, with Austin Federley on IR. The quick shot goes wide from Shevers right off the draw. So that means a couple of an extra forward to try and sneak in there. Basically, you have 3 centers and 4 sets of wings, if you want to think it like that. And James and Morrick were listed as the 2 extra forwards coming into this game. Ryder behind his net, watched by Morrick. Plays it to his right. Dustin Henning starts up the near side boards. He has some skating room. Played it right in. Powers looking back door, and that was broken up. Organ for Morrick, looking ahead, couldn't find Lockney. Lockney has it, dropped off to Graham. Lockney behind the net. In front, Graham taps it back to the line. Brockway got it back there, tipped up and knocked out of danger. Now Brockway's blast up, rebound available. Arttu Heikala had a swipe at it. And now Ryder got it out for Bencic. He bounces it into the offensive zone. Popped up in the air, and Zimmerman retreats back. Wraps it all the way around. Favaro kept it moving. And now here comes Lockney with Heikala. Lockney working on Zimmerman. Got it to Favaro, who's joined the play. He lost an edge. Zimmerman has a man breaking. It's Bencic. Couldn't bring in the pass cleanly. Prowlers trying to go the other direction. Icing waved off here. McDonald rimmed it up the boards. Got through Price. Bencic up to Newman. Has Dabari hustling to join him. Newman drops it back. Bencic. Slap pass to Dabari. Was behind him. Johnson looking for some space. He'll play it right up the near side boards. Had Anderson at the blue line, but Ouellette cut it off. Parsons for Price, and he streaks in. Price turning back, cycled it down low. Anderson up the far boards. Brockway puts it back down deep. Anderson gets to it. Anderson peels back. Looking for a passing option. Has Parsons. Rister partially blocked by a Wolves stick. Dabari gave it to Mishkin. Filipov slams on the brick, slid it down low, and Parsons broke up that opportunity. Up and down action. Here's a giveaway. Klink couldn't tuck it. Klink trying to bank it off of Huber. Puck escapes the zone. And now the Wolves having some trouble. Centering feed. Bazal shot stopped by Colgan. The puck goes up out of play. Turnovers on both ends. Both teams getting opportunities early in the second, but it's still 1-1. We'll take a timeout here on the PHP Network. Back here in Watertown, 7 minutes gone. In period number 2, Prowlers and Wolves are tied up at a goal apiece. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Still working through a few things here, but yeah, that's what you'll get when you're trying to work in a new building. Trying to make things work here in Watertown, and hopefully you all are enjoying the broadcast. This, of course, the oldest rivalry in the FPHL. The Wolves actually predate the Prowlers, but they took one season off, and that season happened to be the Prowlers' first year, 2015-16. So technically the Prowlers are the longest continuous franchise in the FPHL, while the Wolves are the oldest. And these two teams started playing each other back when pterodactyls roamed the skies, all the way back in the long time ago. Puck went into the Watertown bench, and the face-off will be just in front of there, outside of the Prowlers zone.
Coming up during our second intermission. We're looking for lucky program number 30. Lucky program number 30.
Face-off one back by Matt Graham, a Watertown privateer. That's where he started his FPHL career. The first franchise here in Watertown. Lucas Lockney goes back towards the net. Favaro collects it at the blue line. Wristed it down, deep popped up, out of play. And we will get a whistle and a face-off. And Matt Graham, FPHL veteran, started his career here in Watertown all the way back in the 2013-14 season with, again, the then Watertown Privateers. That was his first year in the FPHL before he went over to Slovakia for a couple of years, won a championship there, then returned to North America to play for the Danbury Titans, and then, of course, the Port Huron Prowlers. His line is off. Blake Anderson's line is out there. Bobby Price's quick shot shouldered away by Colgan. Puck around the blue paint, and it's swept out of danger. Prowlers still on the attack. Newman slid it to Bencic. Couldn't get it out of the zone. Good play by Favaro. Backpedaling. Puck in the corner. Price sweeps around the net, looking for a passing option. He'll cycle it back down deep. Now it's Zimmerman making a move. Trying to get out, had his pocket picked. Puck batted around, right in front of Colgan, comes back to the line. Johnson looking towards Favaro, has to chase after it. Bounce it down to Cumbas's direction. Bencic tossed it over Favaro. Johnson will beat Newman to the puck. And now Johnson all the way out of the zone. Dabari took a bump from Hakala. Bencic looks to turn it right back the other way. Graham one-handed to Lockney. Prowlers have numbers. Lockney sweeps it in front and is saved by Colgan. Back in the blue paint, and Colgan able to clamp the glove on top for a whistle and a face-off. 11-11 left to go in period number 2. Prowlers almost had an opportunity there off the rush, but Lockney just couldn't get to that puck in time for it to be a cleaner chance. Well, they'll get the offensive zone face-off here, and another opportunity to get the puck back on net. Off the draw. Parsons, wrister blocked. He'll flag it back down. Slid all the way behind the net. Graham in front, pinballed off a couple of players. And now Filipov out to Michigan, now to Klink, working on Organ. Klink lost the handles he tried to dangle. Organ stayed right with him. Filipov bounce it back to the point. Chernyuk's drive, knocked down in front. Comes back to Aulette, down to Michigan. Back to the line, Aulette. Chernyuk, Aulette thought about the shot. Tried to float it in Klink's direction. Parsons able to poke it back to Organ, and the Prowlers take control, looking to exit. Graham saucers it ahead, knocked down by Chernyuk. Michigan chased by Matt Graham. Lead pass, Chernyuk, now for Klink. Spinning back, Klink chased by James, his number 22 opposite. Puck pops up in the air. Organ grabs it there. Flings it all the way around the boards. Bucell had to deal with Henning, who pinched in. Bucell trying to spin away, and now he'll head up ice. Couldn't get around Shevers with the puck. Henning back down the boards. Organ pitchforks it up towards Kellerman, and then Organ was dumped. Henning claps it right back down deep. This pairing of Organ and Parsons has been out there a while. Shevers moves it around to Reiter. Up to the line. Henning walks, makes a move, and a penalty coming up against Quinn Shevers as he knocked down Tim Organ behind the net. So it looks like the Prowlers will get bailed out here by a penalty from Quinn Shevers. They'll go on the power play when we come back right here on the PHP Network.
Hockey is like a business. One missed pass can derail the perfect plan. Have Taft Consulting help you get your whole team on the same page. They have the expertise to help you follow through on all your goals. Find out how they can help you today by emailing taftconsulting@outlook.com.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here in Watertown, Prowlers going to their second power play of the game. You see the extra shove right there from Quinn Shevers as he was battling with Tim Organ away from the puck. That drew the roughing penalty, and the Prowlers power play goes to work for the second time in this game. They're 0 for 1. During the 12th ranked power play in the FPHL, again 2 for 6 last Saturday against Indiana. This Wolves PK also 12th in the league, 75.7%. Killed off 7 of 8 against the Danbury Hat Tricks last weekend. And they send out Jamie Bucell's power play unit. he will draw against Darian Bencic. Bencic won the face-off back. Anderson able to pinch in. Couldn't keep it alive, though. Here comes Dustin Henning short-handed. Henning trying to dangle to the middle. Still has it on his backhand, wasting plenty of time. Prowlers surround him. They get the puck. And now they start up ice. Good short-handed shift for Dustin Henning as he went off for a change. Wolves trying to get it out of their own end again. This time Price able to bounce it around to the far side for Anderson. Port Huron trying to set up, but Anderson lost it. Here comes Bencic, chased down by Anderson. Bencic tries to dangle, tripped up. Penalty coming up against the Prowlers. Bencic still tried to sweep that puck to the net. Nick Favaro's going to the box, and we'll have some 4-on-4 action after a disjointed and catawampus-looking Prowlers power play. You see the trip there on Bencic. So barring any more penalties, we'll have a 44-second Watertown man advantage once this 4-on-4 is over, as Johnson sends it ahead to Lockney. Dropped it back for Alex Johnson. Stops up, and he sends Lockney on his way. Oregon wheeling in. Down low, Lockney got a touch on it, and Colgan the save. Now the Wolves try and attack. Mishkin pushes by Graham. Mishkin all the way around the net. Cycled it down to Chernyuk. He walks up top, tried to get back to Mishkin. He was tied up by Oregon. Oregon watched by Mishkin as both teams make changes. Oregon takes a look behind him to the penalty clock, and he gets it to Johnson. 3 Wolves back to greet Alex Johnson as he stops up at the blue line. Tried to go towards the net, hit the top of the glass, stays in play. James bounces it to the point. Brockway, a drive blocked on the way through and batted out of the zone. It's a Wolves power play now as Chevers is out of the box. Henning, watched by DeCumbus. He gets in. 30 seconds left in this abbreviated Watertown man advantage. Rimmed up the boards, and it eludes Zimmerman out of the zone. Zimmerman has Klink. Got it in his direction. Puck ends up off the far corner boards. And it's clapped around and down by Brian Parsons. Final seconds ticking off this Watertown man advantage. They streak it up for Klink. He's shut down by Bailey Huber. Just as the penalty expired, Wolves tried to catch the Prowlers in a change. And Bailey Huber stood tall on Stephen Klink. There's the stretch pass, and Huber able to deny Klink. Prowlers got back in enough time to make sure the passing option wasn't a threat. Off this face-off, puck in the neutral zone. James able to one-hand it along. Lockney couldn't get there before Colgan did. Colgan played to an area, and Graham swept it out in front. It eluded James with Colgan out of his goal crease. Klink stepping around Oregon. He goes down, looking for a penalty that he won't get. Chernyuk slipped it to an area. Filipov and Favaro chase. Pass in front, sticked away by Huber. Mishkin for Filipov, now to the line. Chernyuk down to Klink. Curl and drag, got the shot away, but it goes up out of play. Looking for a pregame meal, Zip Sauce is located in the Industrial Park Marathon. Zip Sauce is the official burger of the Port Huron Prowlers. Wolves getting a little bit of pressure here over these last couple of shifts following their power play. They send out Chris Corrigan's line, and we'll see if he can keep on the attack. Shot from the line by Zimmerman, stopped, rebound available, and Parsons able to sweep it away. Moved ahead to Price, as DeCumbus streaking with him. Price walks to the middle, drops it off for Anderson to the net, and he missed wide. Anderson and McDonald come together. Zimmerman grabs the puck. DeCumbus sweeps it up the boards. Parsons sends it right back where it came from. Back behind the net. Anderson chasing back after it. Johnson at the line. Rister just missed Zimmerman's face as it ended up in the far corner. Ryder for Zimmerman. Looking for a headman feed. He'll go with a high flip that goes all the way down. And Huber slams the glove on top for a whistle and a face-off. 5:12 left to go in period 2. Still a 1-1 game. As again, the Wolves try and stretch it on. That's something that this team does a lot. They love to stretch the ice. They love to hang guys at the far blue line. Right now they have FM Michigan lined up right behind Steven Klink for this face-off. And Blake Anderson, fooled by the false drop from the linesman, he'll be asked to leave the face-off circle. Or at least he was, but I think they let him come back. This time Anderson able to win it back to Parsons. Gazal flips it off of Michigan's glove. Henning got it back up to Michigan. Drops it off. Klink wheeling in. Trying to make a pass to the middle. That was taken away. Prowlers look to wheel up with numbers. Bucell working on Henning. Bucell throws on the bricks and a good stick by Henning to knock it away from him. Gazal up the boards to the line. Brockway let it go. Kick save and a beauty from the defenseman right in front. That was Michigan. Now it's Klink trying to step around Oregon. Curls back. Filipov getting away from Brockway. Tried to poke it to the line. Poked out. And here comes Bucell. He'll just send a cross-corner dump in and let the forwards get a change. Pass cut off by Graham. On the loose puck, scooped up, Dabari on his backhand. Trying to work his way back up high. Oregon swept it off of Dabari. And now it's Lucas Lockney. Got it through Ouellette. Going all the way down. Delayed icing here, and Graham just did not win the race. So we will get an icing and a timeout. We'll step aside with under 4 to go in period 2 here on the PHP Network.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rear-view mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
What's more authentic than a Hungry Howie's Detroit-style pizza? Nothing. We're not playing around with the pizza of our birthplace. Thick crust, cheese to the edge, sauce on the top. Where it belongs. We've seen a lot of fakes out there. Not here. This is authentic Detroit-style pizza. Order yours now online for $12.99. We sauce the top and rep for the 313 everywhere. We do bold. Hungry Howie's.
Back here in Watertown, 3:50 left to go in period number 2. Prowlers and Wolves tied up at 1 apiece. Face-off will be down in Bailey Huber's end. Neither team has been able to break through in this middle frame. Shots are 9-7 in the second period. 25-14 in favor of the Prowlers for the game. Olette tried to drop it off for Bencic. That wasn't a clean exchange. Olette right on, and that didn't get through to Huber. Plenty of traffic out in front. Oregon stops up, slid it ahead, tipped along. Hakala all the way around the boards. Lockney gets there first, swept it out in front, stopped, rebound, put out towards the slot. Newman gets there first, and he chips it out of the zone. Johnson takes the handoff to Cumbus. Touch pass to Anderson. Sent it in deep. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Olette almost had it taken away. He had some help with him. Brockway trying to get it out of his end. Got it to Price. Back pass to an area. Cherniak takes over. Now Favaro. Both teams taking turns giving it to the other. Here's Price wheeling in with a shot. And Colgan the save. He'll hang on.
Samaritan Health Center has cared for our neighbors with the best medical talent, facilities, and equipment in our area. Visit Samaritan Health.
Bobby Price can pick up the puck and fly into the offensive zone at a moment's notice. And he did it right there. Colgan able to use his big frame to make that save. Off this face-off, Zimmerman saucers it all the way down. No icing here. Oregon and Filipov cancel out. Parsons slid it ahead. Here's James with some skating room. Got it to Bucell. Stepping around Zimmerman. Dropped it off. James. Put it out in front. Now it's cut off by Zimmerman. He was tied up. Morick heading back after the puck. Got it down deep. James in front looking for Bucell. Couldn't get it to him. Now Morick hands it off to Parsons at the line. Back down low as the Prowlers continue to cycle. Morick ducking on Zimmerman, who took the puck from him. Corrigan and Bucell come together, and the Wolves get it out of their own end. Oregon looks to put it right back in. Prowlers making a full change as Zimmerman hangs out behind his net. There's a Wolf at the Prowler blue line. That's Delina. They couldn't get it to him. Favaro steps back into the offensive zone. Anderson trying to go back for Favaro. They got their signals crossed, and here comes Delina. He's hammered into the wall by Favaro. Price took a bump as he cut across the middle. There's a loose stick on the ice as Johnson wheels ahead. Prowlers have some numbers. Johnson dropping it off. Anderson cuts to the net. Anderson knocked down, poked in front. They battle away, and they score! The net came off, the puck went in, the referee pointed. Prowlers have a 2-1 lead. Looks like it's Vinny DeCumbus, but they will talk about it. Blake Anderson made a strong move to the net. He got knocked down. Players got knocked into the cage behind, and DeCumbus put it in. Okay, good look here from Aiden Vision. Johnson got ridden into the boards, into the cage by Roger Powers. And the referees will review this, but good goal is the call on the ice. Dustin Henning and Jamie Bucell representing their squads. And a quick review, and indeed it is confirmed a good goal. For Vinny DeCumbus, his 5th of the year, and the Boo Birds rain down here in Watertown. Take another look. Watch Johnson and Powers on the far side. Cut back to the net. As Anderson's knocked down, puck's there. Johnson knocked in, and right as DeCumbus swept at it. So they do confirm it to be a good goal. So they say because the Watertown player dislodged it, that's the reason for the good goal. Shout out to the Wolves public address announcer, for that information. Though it's because Powers knocked Johnson into the net. At the same time, DeCumbis put the puck in, that the goal is allowed to stand. Again, good explanation there here in Watertown. We do appreciate that very much. Prowlers with a 2-1 lead, 44 seconds left to go in this period. Take another look at it. We'll let you know what's coming up on the second intermission here on the PHP Network. Highlights and analysis from back in our studios. Brady Beaton will have that for you. Let's take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule, out-of-town scores, and more, all coming up here on the PHP Network. Tim Morgan has taken a penalty here as he tripped up Igor Filipov. And the Wolves will go to their second power play of the game. They are 0 for 1. This will be their first full man advantage of the game. See Filipov there doing a few push-ups after getting knocked down. A chance for Watertown. If they don't score by the end of this period, the power play will leak into the third. There's a one-timer stopped by Huber. Rebound available, and it's cleared just past Chernyuk at the line. Flink into the offensive end. Try to curl and drag shot. That didn't work, and Hakala clears it down. 14 seconds left to go in period 2. Colgan for Benchich. Wolves not heading up the ice in any hurry. There are 5 seconds left. Chernyuk takes a look at the clock, but left the puck behind, steps in, and won't have time for a shot. So Vinny DeCumbis with the only goal of period number 2. Prowlers will take the 2-1 lead into the third. Wolves will have a minute and 24 seconds of power play time to work with when we come back for period number 3. But it is the Prowlers with a 2-1 lead trying to close out the first game of this weekend. Well, once again, coming up here on the PHP Network, we'll have highlights and analysis from Brady Beaton back in our PHP Network studios all the way back in Michigan, not McMorran Place. We have our new studios, the cool-looking desk that you got to see a little while earlier. So lots more upgrades here when you didn't think it was possible that we could add any more. We've added a cool desk and a full studio for Brady Beaton to hang out in for our road games. You also have the upcoming schedule for the Prowlers, out-of-town scores, and much more. All of that coming up right here on the PHP Network. It is the Prowlers 2 and the Wolves 1 heading into the third. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game. That will be Friday, February the 13th, the much-anticipated Star Wars night. Specialty jerseys, lightsabers available in the Prowlers team store, and much more. It's one of the most exciting home games of the year, one of the most anticipated home games of the year. And it's coming up again February the 13th, just 2 weeks from tonight. We are so excited for that one. You can get your tickets, phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan the QR code on your screen now. It's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan the QR code on your screen now to have a shot at getting one of those special Prowlers Star Wars themed jerseys. You can only get them at the post-game auction in the arena that night. You'll have to be in the building. So again, get your tickets today. Star Wars night is back in Port Huron. You won't want to miss it. They are setting up Chuck-a-Puck here in Watertown, which I understand is a difficult task considering there's netting surrounding the entire rink, but they've brought everybody out on the benches for what looks to be Chuck-a-Puck. Got to get creative here in the FPHL. We'll send it back to Brady Beaton in our PHP Network studios when we come back here on the PHP Network.
Come on, guys, hop in.
We're not getting in that thing. That thing's gross.
Yeah, I wore my nice pants today. This thing could use a detail.
Well, I don't know. Do you know anybody who could detail a boat?
I think that guy could.
Hi, I'm Logan from Ballard's Detail. I can detail your boat.
From oxidized and faded to smooth and glossy, our professional compounding and waxing process will get your boat looking new again. Contact us today at 810-956-8318. Visit us on Facebook at Ballard's Detail LLC.
SMR Automotive Systems is part of the Motherson Group and a proud community sponsor of the Port Huron Prowlers. We are one of the largest manufacturers of rearview mirrors for passenger vehicles in the world, with local plants in Port Huron and Marysville. We strive to support our local communities and have positions available for various abilities and experience. Find out more about who we are at smr-automotive.com.
Hello, I'm home.
There he is.
What is happening?
Relax. We won. They brought back the snack wrap. Spicy or ranch?
Spicy.
Yeah, go. Yeah. Just one little bite.
Can you stop?
Oh, sorry.
Gather your crew. Snack wrap is back.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a hope play. I'll take. Come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Head over to the Birchwood Mall for your shopping and entertainment needs. Hop on the carousel, shoot some hoops, or visit some of their great stores such as Gerlach's Woodworks, where they specialize in handcrafted wooden decorations. Add to your fan cave a Prowlers themed creation. Upgrade your bathroom at Luxury Bath Mobility Remodelers. They can fully customize your bath or shower to fit your needs, and they also do flooring. For the sports fan in your life, pick up a unique gift from Pro Edge Sports. Jam-packed with all kinds of memorabilia. There's something for everyone. And it's not a trip to the mall without Auntie Anne's pretzels. Grab a freshly made full-size cup of pretzel bites and wash it down with some frozen lemonade. At the Birchwood Mall, you can find this and more. Visit them on 24th Ave in Fort Gratiot.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hi guys, we just stopped at Industrial Park Marathon to get some fuel and some snacks before the Prowlers game at McMorran.
Nice. Yeah, we just stopped by here at Industrial Park Marathon so I can get a Slurpee before the game.
Wait till after the game. If the Prowlers score 3 or more goals, Slurpees will be free.
Thanks for the info. I'm going to get my Slurpee after, but we'll see you at the Prowlers game.
See you at the game. Go Prowlers!
Yeah, I don't know about this one, fellas.
Boys, we don't overcome adversity by backing down. But yeah, I don't know about this one.
That's reassuring.
We're so screwed.
All right, boys. Here's a game plan. LJ, you start with bananas. B-Way.
Wait, why do I have to do the bananas?
Because you're the softest on the team.
I don't want the bananas.
This thing is going to melt. We got to hurry up.
I won't do it.
Okay, both of you. I will do the bananas and the whipped cream. Fets, please continue.
Who's paying for this anyway?
I am. I just bought my tickets for the Prowlers game this weekend, and the Milk House gave me 25% off my order.
Fets, why'd you buy the tickets? You're literally on the team.
For the discount.
So are you all ready to give it a try?
Oh, we're ready.
It's true. Get 25% off your entire order at the Milk House, October through April. Simply show your ticket stubs at checkout and enjoy your discounted treat.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the second intermission report right here at the Park Avenue Production Studios. Hello, everybody, and welcome into the second intermission report right here at the Park Avenue Production
Sorry about that, folks. Seem to be having some technical difficulties back there in our studios. They look really good, though, right? We'll see if we can get Brady Beaton going here. But the Prowlers have a 2-1 lead over the Watertown Wolves through 40 minutes of play. And it's been tough for offense on both sides. Seems like there's been a lot of up and down play, but not necessarily leading to grade A chance after grade A chance. Both teams have had their opportunities. Goalies have had to stand tall, but there have been long stretches where teams have just been giving the puck back to each other. But the Prowlers did take the lead in that second period. But let's take you back to the first period. See if hopefully we can get some highlights here. And we'll start with the Wolves' first goal back in the first period. Trevor Newman was the one who got on the board first for Watertown. Again, we are having some technical difficulties with our crew back in Michigan here. As we'll take you back through this one so far. Again, Trevor Newman scored the first goal of the game for the Wolves after Watertown was able to chip the puck in deep, get it out in front. Plenty of chaos in front, and Newman was the only one who knew where the puck was. And he was able to slide it home past Bailey Huber. Just a couple minutes later, the Prowlers got things tied up. Bobby Price was stopped on his way to the net on his first opportunity, but the Prowlers stayed on the puck. And if we had the replay, I could show you that the Wolves were completely focused on Price on Vinny DeCumbis behind the net. But DeCumbis was able to sweep the puck out in front to Price, who outweighted Brendan Colgan. Price was all by himself in front. And he tied the score up at 1, and it stayed like that until the final couple of minutes of that second period. Another scramble in front of the goal crease, and Vinny DeCumbis was able to put the puck home. It was a little bit weird of a goal, as here we get a look at this will be Vinny DeCumbis' goal. So you see first Blake Anderson gets knocked down on his way to the net. Alex Johnson gets pushed into the net. Net comes off its moorings as DeCumbis sweeps it on goal. And that one indeed a good goal, as it was ruled that the Wolves knocked the net off while DeCumbis was putting the puck in. And again, the important part of this is that the Wolves were the ones who knocked the net off because Powers pushed Johnson into the net. So that made it 2-1 Prowlers. And again, thank you to the Watertown Wolves PA announcer for a great explanation of that rule and the ruling from the referees. I want to see if we can take another look at Bobby Price's goal as well from that opening period, because the Watertown Wolves got caught puck watching. Watch as Price has the puck poked off his stick. And then there are 4 Wolves in the frame. Vinny DeCumbis goes behind the net and finds the puck. All 4 Wolves are below the goal line. Price is all by himself. He's curled back to the middle of the ice. And he outweighted Brendan Colgan, able to slide it home. 4th goal in 2 games for Bobby Price, following his hat trick last Saturday. And again, great patience from Bobby Price. His team high 15th goal of the season. Prowlers have 20 more minutes left to go, and we'll see if they can finish off the Watertown Wolves and start this weekend on a high note. They have the 2-1 lead through 40 minutes. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule, out-of-town scores, and more. So don't go anywhere. More to come here on the PHP Network.
Welcome to the new era of Prowlers hockey. New owner, new store, new horn, fire, projectors on the ice. Yeah, this isn't your dad's McMorrin experience. This is Prowlers hockey. Get your tickets for the show now at phprowlers.com/tickets.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PHProwlers, and Twitter at PHProwlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
On Prowlers Hockey, presented by Proper 12 shot for Huron Prowlers. Back here in Watertown, Prowlers with a 2-1 lead over the Wolves through 40 minutes of play. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for tuning in with us tonight. Take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. A week off next weekend, but we will still have the coaches show at Wings, etc. But before that weekend off, or before that week off, the Prowlers and Wolves will do it again here in this building tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. puck drop. We should have a few more things figured out for you, so we will be firing on all cylinders tomorrow here in Watertown. Should be an exciting game between the Prowlers and the Wolves. So you can find that again here on the PHP Network tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. puck drop from Watertown Municipal Arena. Let's take a look at what's going on around the FPHL as we get to our out-of-town scoreboard, which is presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. And we start in Binghamton. Final minutes. And the Binghamton Black Bears are trailing the Twin City Thunderbirds by a score of 4. Under 4 minutes left to go. Black Bears in danger of dropping back-to-back home games, which feels unbelievable with the way the Black Bears play at home. PD Ice Cats are getting outshot by the Athens Rock Lobsters 17-9 midway through the second, but they have the only goal of the game. Patrick Marcinkovics has the tally early on in period 2, and it is 1-0 Cats. The Blue Ridge Bobcats have broken open their game with the Danbury hat tricks. It's 5-2 Bobcats. Danbury had a 2-0 lead in the first period. The Bobcats have scored 5 unanswered. Daniel Martin and Nick Stuckless in the first, and Brandon Reller Stuckless again, and Nikita Kazirev in the second. They're getting ready for period number 3. It is all Cats, doubling up the hat tricks in shots on goal at this point. Of course, it is, goes without saying that the hat tricks may have a little bit more on their mind tonight. Thinking of their captain, Johnny Ruiz, who suffered a stroke earlier this week. We again want to reiterate our thoughts and prayers and our best well wishes to Johnny Ruiz and the entire Hat Tricks organization as he navigates that. Continuing on with our out-of-town scoreboard, it's a barn burner in Columbus. Dragons have a 5-3 lead over the Biloxi Breakers. Former Breaker Yaroslav Yevdokimov has a goal in his Dragons debut. 5 different goal scorers for the Dragons. Kyle Heitzner has 2 on the other side for the Biloxi Breakers, and that a 5-3 score. They are through 40 minutes of play. They're still working in period 2 in Topeka. The Indiana Sentinels have a 2-1 lead. Prowlers fans would like to root for the Sentinels in that game as the Scarecrows are chopping at the Prowlers' heels for second place in the Empire. Richard Colarusso and Noah Hippolyte-Smith have the goals for Indiana, sandwiching one from Aldiar Nerlan. And they are late stages second period, again 2-1 Sents. Second period in Monroe in the Battle of the Boot between the Moccasins and the Zydeco. Hagen Moe and Casey Gerstein have the goals for the Monroe Moccasins. It is 2-0 Monroe. Of course, here it is 2-1 Prowlers. The out-of-town scoreboard is presented by Love After Hours Boutique and Boudoir. Use code Prowlers for 15% off at Love After Hours. Turning our attention back to tonight's game is take a look in the Prowlers tunnel. Take a look at our Gunther Graphics game stats. It's 2-1 Prowlers. They're nearly doubling up the Wolves in shots on goal. And both teams 0 for 2 on the man advantage through 40 minutes of play. Ben Brockway, Bobby Price, and the fellas are ready to step out of the dressing room and back onto the ice to begin period number 3. They are led out by Bailey Huber. They will be led out by Bailey Huber as the Wolves are hitting the ice here. Brendan Colgan leading them out. He has made 25 saves on 27 Prowler shots. There's Brian Larson, Prowler's equipment manager, who got to come on the trip with us this weekend. And here come the Prowlers, led out by Bailey Huber. He has made 13 saves on 14 Wolves shots. Prowlers and Wolves getting set for the third period here on the PHP Network. Watertown of 1 minute and 25 seconds of power play time. All right, and we're here for period number 3. Wolves continuing on their power play as Darian Benchich swept it out in front. Came all the way to Klink, and now it's Chernyuk. Klink again. Makes a move. Klink behind the net. Swept it in front, they score. A backdoor play, and the Wolves have tied it right back up 21 seconds into the third. FM Michigan on the receiving end of the pass from Klink. And Michigan has his 16th goal of the season. He extends his point streak to 6 games. Uncovered on the back door, sneaking in from the far side. And just like that, all even up in period 3. Prowlers did not give up a power play goal last Saturday against Indiana. The Wolves get one here after going 0 for 8 last weekend against Danbury. There's Favaro, a shot steered away by Colgan. Gellerman back behind the net. Michigan scoops up the puck there. Has to deal with Bazal. Michigan goes back to Chernyuk. Slipped it ahead to Michigan. Back to Chernyuk. Wolves start to look north. Chernyuk drops it back once more. Michigan. There's a wall of Prowlers waiting for him at the blue line. His long shot, glove down and held by Huber. Stephen Klink and Darian Benchich listed as the assists on the goal by FM Michigan. It comes on the only shot so far in period 3. Off this draw, Tim Morgan wheels around his net. Off a stick. And Oregon able to send it back in deep. Ryder lost it to Hakela. Colgan plays it around to Henning. Came to the line. Oregon, a wrister missed wide. Kicks up off the backboards. Hakela sidesteps a check. Gets back to the puck. Got it around towards Graham. Swept it up to the point. Oregon makes a move. Sent it down low. Tipped wide. Graham working up the boards, but had it taken away by a pair of Wolves. Oregon play it to an area. Johnson comes back for it. Johnson wires it off the glass behind his net. Oregon almost gave it away. Did get the puck out though. McDonald rims it back in. James fresh off the bench. Trying to get towards Morick. Now it's McDonald. In on Huber, and he sticks it over to the near side corner. Oregon head to James. Oregon able to tip it along. McDonald retreats. Bounce it ahead, and Morick gets it back deep in Wolves territory. McDonald up for Michigan. Stephen Klink for Filipov. Had Michigan on the other side. Good poke by Parsons. Klink to the line. McDonald on goal save Huber, and he swept the rebound away from Michigan, who was all by himself right in front. Klink forced back by Anderson. Price able to clap the puck down low in Watertown's end. Anderson with a steal. Anderson with a shot, and he missed wide. Anderson grabs it on the near side half wall. Price turning the corner. Couldn't find a shooting lane. Tipped on, and Colgan the save as Graham got in deep. Shevers tried to dump it in. Comes to Huber, and he left it off for Johnson, but referee thought he covered it. So we'll get a whistle and a face-off. Huber never covered that puck, but the referee didn't have a good look at it. So he was standing in the near side corner. Huber thought about it, but he ended up leaving it for Johnson. Off this face-off, Favaro. And now Hakela able to get back to Favaro. Prowlers do get out of their end and get it deep in Watertown's. Popped off the boards. Favaro turns the corner, hit the crossbar. Second post of the game for the Prowlers. Heading the other direction. Huber sticks it over. That one hit the referee, and now Hakela able to tip the puck out of the zone. Ryder claps it back in. That hit the protective netting up out of play. And we'll get a whistle and a face-off. 15:46 left to go in period number 3. In case you're just getting back to this game, a power play goal from FM Michigan 21 seconds into the third. Tied the score back up. Here's the crossbar from Nick Favaro. He beat Colgan, but not the bar. Bobby Price hit the post in the second period. So count it 2 irons for Port Huron in this game. McDonald up to Benchich. Lost the handle. Blake Anderson trying to slip past McDonald. Zimmerman gave it right back to Anderson. Price, as Anderson was knocked down behind the net, puck came back to him. McDonald grabs it now. Benchich all the way across. Oregon bouncing right back up in Watertown's direction. Parsons wheels in. They lost it. And McDonald continues to throw the body on this physical shift for the big defenseman, number 77 in blue. Benchich stops up. Gave it to Newman into the offensive zone. His shot swallowed up by Huber. He'll hang on for a whistle and a face-off. 6'2", 205, McDonald continuing to throw the body in this game. Prowlers and Wolves tie up at 2. We'll step aside.
Hi, what can I get for you?
I'd like some McMorrin fries, please.
All right, that's going to be $4.
She shoots, she scores with the new Prowlers debit card.
Don't you have somewhere to be? The game's on.
Get your Prowlers debit card only at Flagship Community Federal Credit Union, located on Lapeer Road in Port Huron. Flagship Federal Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA. Back here in Watertown, 2-2 between the Prowlers and the Wolves. Just over 5 minutes gone in period number 3. FM Michigan, the only goal of this third period. Wolves trying to snap a 4-game losing skid. Meanwhile, the Prowlers have won 9 of 10 as they try and stay in front of the Topeka Scarecrows in second place in the Empire. They came into the night up 5 points. Topeka has 2 games in hand. Both teams in action tonight. At last check, Scarecrows were losing. Here's Chernyuk. Gave it back to Filipov. One-timer blocked on the way through. May have hit his own man, Mishkin. Johnson able to get it out of the zone. Colgan comes all the way out to play it. Got it up to Klink, and now Mishkin. Back to Klink. Quick shot. Snagged by Huber. And that's the dangerous line. Klink, Mishkin, and Filipov. And another good glove save from Bailey Huber. He's made 17 stops tonight. That line stays out for Watertown. Jamie Bussell's line comes out for Port Huron. Filipov got it back to the line. Power shot blocked by James. Puck lands in the corner. Mishkin up to the line. Powers goes D to D. Henning floats it off the back wall. Bussell gets there first. 3 Prowlers, 2 Wolves digging away. Parsons able to pull it from the scrum. Henning couldn't bring in the pass from Powers. Got it ahead to Filipov though, 2-on-2. Filipov trying to get past Organ. His shot knocked down by Huber. A couple of players go tumbling. Bazal able to launch it for Luke James. James lifting Powers' stick, but Newman came back for the puck. Long lead pass cut off by Johnson, and they blow things dead because the net behind Bailey Huber was dislodged. It was dislodged way earlier in the sequence, but because the puck went up ice, they decided not to blow it dead until the puck was going to come back towards Huber's end. We'll have a face-off at center ice here. Off the draw, one back by the Wolves. Zimmerman ahead to Benchich. Alex Johnson with it in the slot of his own end. Indirect feed. Favaro skates into it. Favaro, nice move. Favaro still going before he's spun down to the ice by Zimmerman. Wolves looked to go the other direction but couldn't complete a pass. Anderson tossed it in. Zimmerman all the way up, tipped along, but right into Johnson. Favaro up the glass. McDonald sent it back where it came from. Favaro got it to DeCumbis. He ran into Zimmerman, and Zimmerman got the worst of that one. Now Benchich. He gets the red line and wires it around. Wolves streaming off the bench onto the forecheck. Anderson up the near side wall, got through Chernyuk. Anderson skates into the puck, had it poked off his stick. Anderson handed it off. He's heading off for a change, but puck popped into the Prowler bench. He'll get a whistle before that change. 12:24 left to go in period 3. Vinny DeCumbis was like a freight train earlier on in that shift as he ran over Adam Zimmerman, who stepped up to try and hit him. Face off, one back by Bucell. Parsons able to chip it down low. Colgan plays it around towards Corgan. Bizal trying to disrupt. Chernyuk takes it, fires it ahead past Chevers. Prowlers regroup. Brockway off the wall. Gellerman gets back in. Puck was knocked down by Ouellette. Tossed right on Huber, and he'll scoop it up with the glove and get the whistle. Still lots of time left to go in period 3. Score is 2-2 between the Prowlers and the Wolves. Each team scored in the first. Prowlers scored in the final minutes of the second, and the Wolves scored a power play goal in the first minute of the third. A good back and forth game so far. Each team has held a lead. Power slid it up to Michigan. Filipov over in Klink's direction. Pass was too far in front of him. Michigan cuts off the rim. Got it across looking for Klink. Again, too far in front. Michigan tied up with Johnson, who takes him in. Lockney couldn't chip the puck by Henning. Henning down low and comes to the corner. Filipov up to Michigan. He lost the handle as he tried to shoot it. Lockney looking to poke it ahead. Has Graham with him. Lockney in front. Stopped by Colgan as Matt Graham was right on the doorstep. Prowlers were able to spring a rush as FM Michigan forgot the puck when he tried to shoot it. And Brendan Colgan comes across to stop Matt Graham. Brendan Colgan, one of the bigger goalies in the FPHL, 6'3", 220. He's having himself one of his best games of the season. 28 saves on 30 shots so far. And another good one there. He gets his mask back set, and we're ready for another face-off. Zimmerman tied up with Anderson, who tried to center. Newman cut it off. Anderson back on it, swept it towards the net and wide. Parsons pinches in, get it back down deep. DeCumbis taken in by McDonald. Bencic takes the puck, got it out. Parsons looking up ice. He'll leave it off for Oregon. Indirect feed all the way up to Price. Stepping past McDonald. Price to the net. Had it poked off his stick. Dabari. Now Zimmerman trying to dangle, and Price almost swept that puck on goal. This line continues to be hard on the forecheck. DeCumbis centered out in front, but only found Bencic. And Bencic's pass blocked away by Price. Anderson battling for it. Hops to the middle of the ice. Anderson gets it there. Fires it in off the glass. Colgan looks over his shoulder. Bounce back. Bucell with a takeaway. Up high it goes. Bizal around to Hakala. Try to sweep it back down towards Connor Bizal. He gets on the puck. Bizal handoff for Favaro working down the half wall. Favaro in front, tipped by Hakala, goes wide. Favaro again, trying to cut to the middle, that didn't work. It's sent all the way down, no icing, so the Wolves will get a chance to change. Parsons wheels ahead, gets the red line, chips it in. Colgan all the way out to play it. He got it up to Chevers. Now the Wolves up with numbers. 4-on-2 if they really hurry. Corgan, outside shot, swallowed up by Bailey Huber. And that's all Watertown will get on that odd man rush. We will take a timeout. Past the midway point of period 3, still knotted up. And 2 goals apiece here in Watertown.
Discover everything banking should be with Advia Credit Union, like earning real financial advantages. You can earn up to $1,000 with your new account. Plus, save an average of nearly $4,000 in interest when refinancing. Get started with a low-rate credit card balance transfer. Enjoy easy access to your money anytime, anywhere. Make the switch today at adviacu.org/real people. Advia Credit Union. Real advantages for real people.
Back here in Watertown, still 2-2 between the Prowlers and the Wolves. Time ticking down in period number 3. Well, the Prowlers are on the ice, so grab a glass of Proper 12 Irish whiskey. Proper 12 is the official shot of the Port Huron Prowlers. Please drink responsibly. It's been a good one here in Watertown. Again, both teams have held leads. Some back and forth play. Wolves leading in the shots on goal department in this third period, 6-3, or 7-4, pardon me now. Prowlers are leading for the game 31-21. Powers looking for a friendly stick, couldn't find one. Johnson slides it out to Graham. Waiting for help, got it to James, flying through, tried to split the defense. James got behind the cage to Lockney. Battled for Graham, taken in by Powers. Lockney gets back to the puck. Lockney turning the corner, but got it knocked off his stick. Bavaro able to knock away that pass. Bavaro slipping past Henning. Graham gets on the puck, tried to center, but Mishkin took it away. Filipov back to Mishkin. Quick pass ahead, and Klink was heading off for a change. So that pass didn't connect. Instead, it's an icing against the Wolves. We'll get a player or face-off army all the way down in the Watertown end. Port Huron sending out Blake Anderson's line. It's the choice for Coach Ballin. Face-off comes to the boards. Anderson collects it there, tried to put it right on goal, is blocked. Oregon couldn't keep it in. Filipov hustling to it. Filipov to the net, and he missed wide. Huber may have gone a piece. Cherniak claps it down and around. Price back for Oregon. Had it taken away. Puck in front, pinballed around, and they blow it dead. Hubers to pick up his goal stick. Dangerous moments there for the Prowlers as they gave up the puck right behind their net. Net came off its moorings. That was the reason for the whistle. Faceoff will be deep in Port Huron's end. Off this face-off comes the line. Olet down low. Corrigan trying to cycle back for Shevers. Bucell taking away. 3 Prowlers, 2 Wolves trying to pull the puck out of the pile. Finally, Johnson does. Johnson sends it right out of play, and that's a delay of game penalty. So the Wolves will go to the power play with 7:37 left to go in a tie hockey game. They are 1 for 2 on the man advantage. Alex Johnson slowly making his way to the sin bin. Two tense minutes for him to sit in the box. We'll see if the Port Huron PK can do its job here. Bencic, Cherniak Now to Klink. Top unit out there for Watertown. They're passing it around, but the backdoor play was broken up by Favaro. Favaro has the puck now, and he's able to toss it all the way down. Prowlers looked like they were getting caught running around just a little bit, but Favaro was back in a good position as the Wolves whipped that puck around on the power play. Klink skates in. Here he comes, quick shot stopped by Huber. Bencic up high, Chernyuk. Quick pass down low to Klink. Comes to the side of the net. Filipov couldn't make a play on it. And now Price finds the loose puck, and he skies it all the way down. Bobby Price has scored a shorthanded goal in each of the last 2 games for the Prowlers. Port Huron did not have a shorthanded goal before that streak started this season. There's Bencic. Trying to make a pass all the way across. Hit Bucell. Brockway sends it out. Here comes Luke James. Short-handed. Saved by Colgan. And he covers up. And then James gave Colgan a snow shower. Bencic has James. .39 seconds left to go on the Johnson penalty. Luke James tried to go forehand, backhand, and Brendan Colgan beat him. We take another look in the building where he scored his first pro goal. Just couldn't elevate it on the backhand, and Brendan Colgan comes up with his biggest save of the game. And no whistle came until James went back to the front of the net. He took the opportunity to give Colgan a bit of a snow shower. 39 seconds left on the Watertown man advantage as Price and Newman get set for the faceoff. Price tied up. Newman reversing back for Ouellette. Got it up to McDonald as the Wolves switch up their unit. Ouellette, left wing side, Zimmerman. 3 defensemen out there for the Wolves. McDonald, Ouellette, and Zimmerman. The 2 forwards are Ryder and Newman. Anderson skating ahead. 9 seconds left to go in the penalty to Johnson, who's ready to come out. Here's Anderson, a shot that's blocked on the way through. Johnson is out. Prowlers back to full strength after a big kill. Ryder for Newman. Hakala came back to defend him. Graham grabs the puck. Able to slide ahead to Lockney. He couldn't get it in turn to Artu Hakelitz. Sent all the way back around in Prowler territory. Mishkin back for Powers. His shot sticked up out of play by Bailey Huber. With 5:11 left to go in regulation in a tie game. Face off to Huber's right. Top line out for Watertown. Brett Morrick will take the draw against FM Michigan. Comes to the wall, bounce to the point. Powers, D to D. Henning steps into it, got it down low, and Oregon able to cut it off and bounce it out of the zone. Bucell left it behind. Bazal looking towards Morrick, and he was tied up and couldn't get a shot away. Filipov the other direction. Trying to dangle in, got towards the net, and just bounced wide. Johnson tied up, so is Klink as he's spun down to the ice. Powers gets it back down to Stephen Klink. Centering feed comes all the way through to the line. Henning fanned on the shot. His stick actually broke on that. Oh, Morrick will dump it in deep. Henning's able to get off for a change. There's a loose stick right in front of the Prowler bench. Players on the Prowler bench trying to pick it up. Meanwhile, it's just poked out of the Watertown zone and dumped deep into Prowler territory. Favaro makes a move around Bencic. Here he comes. Nick Favaro gets in. Save Colgan. Anderson back on the puck. Around behind towards Price. Cycled down to Anderson. Takes a look, had his stick lifted. Out comes Bencic with Dabari. Got it over there. Dabari stops up. Off the near side corner boards. Newman taken in. Set on goal. Turnaround try and pushed wide by Bencic. Prowlers able to get it out. 3.5 to go. Bencic off the boards and in. Parsons and Dabari come together. Parsons trying to win that battle, has some help. Brockway able to muscle it up the near side glass. One going all the way down. Colgan out to play it. Fires it back up the glass and right to Filipov. Makes a pass towards Michigan. Back to Filipov. Dangles. Filipov had it taken away. Here come the Prowlers. 3-on-2. Lockney over towards Hakela. Offsides called against Port Huron. We will take our final timeout. Under 3 to go in regulation in a tie hockey game. We'll be right back here on the PHP Network.
Discover 1195 Gastropub in Marysville. Burgers, pizzas, apps, and pub favorites like filet mignon and grilled salmon. Open Monday to Friday, 4 to 9 p.m., weekends 12 to 9 p.m. Join us for happy hour, Monday to Thursday. Enjoy half-off bottles of wine every Wednesday, and don't miss Thirsty Thursday with $4 draft beers. Great food, cold drinks, good times. That's 1195 Gastro Pub.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
We invite you to tune in to our next broadcast. That will be tomorrow night when the Prowlers and the Wolves do it again here in Watertown. Puck drop scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Pregame show will start at 7:15. It's all right here on the PHP Network. This one still very much in doubt. 2-2, under 3 minutes to go in regulation, and it should be a heck of a finish. Both teams with some great opportunities in that last couple of minutes. We'll see if that continues. Brian Parsons scores! From center ice! It bounced past Colgan, and the Prowlers are ahead. The former Watertown Wolf, Brian Parsons, just how you draw it up. It just bounced over Colgan's left shoulder. Oh my goodness. Colgan out to play it behind his net. Brian Parsons has his second of the year and first from the neutral zone. So now the Wolves need a goal to tie. Bobby Price lost it. It's kicked over to the near side. Anderson sees it pop up in the air. Tecumseh gave it away. Filipov to the net. Klink couldn't handle the backdoor pass. Klink right back in front, eluded everybody. Chernak on goal, tipped, and it just hit Huber. Johnson leaves it in the corner. Tecumseh spins it all the way around. Ouellette able to keep it in only for a moment though. Ouellette's lost his stick. Johnson retreats back, under 2 to go. Here's Parsons into the offensive end. Parsons over to Graham, right wing side. Spins back, tried to center. That's taken away by Newman. Wolves move back up. Bencic Couldn't get it on goal. Luke James comes up with the puck, and he skies it out. Lockney skates into it. Stepping in, his shot blocked. Rebound, Graham, stopped by Colgan. Rebound there, comes out to the line. Oregon sends it down low. Graham and Henning, the two vets battling. Or pardon me, that's Graham and Newman. Oregon thought about the blast, instead sent back down low again. James, and this time it's Dustin Henning in on the battle. James on his backhand, couldn't get it on goal. Lockney's shot stopped by Colgan. Final minute of play. Prowlers still playing with it in the offensive end, up a goal. Lockney looking towards James and just couldn't put that pass in the right spot. 45 seconds left. Colgan still in his net. Brockway spun down to the ice. Here's Olette working back in. Drops it off, sent on goal, sticked away by Huber. Colgan to the bench, empty net for the Wolves. Dabari down low, got it back, but it just went through him. Newman back down low. Filipov couldn't send it in front. Favaro takes a look at the empty cage, and he missed it wide. So we'll get a face-off down in the Prowlers' end with 14 seconds left to go. Port Huron with a 3-2 lead in insane fashion. Timeout called by the Watertown Wolves. Boy, this game was tight. It was back and forth. And we came out of the TV timeout with a face-off in the neutral zone, right in front of the Watertown bench. Brian Parsons just dumped the puck in. Why not? Dumped it in on net, and it took a Port Huron bounce over the shoulder of 6'3" Brendan Colgan. And the Prowlers have to defend for 14 more seconds, a 3-2 lead, and they'll be able to escape with 3 points. Parsons, who started his career here in Watertown, was traded during his rookie year, the 2018-19 season, to Port Huron, where he's been ever since, save for the 2021-22 season when he played in the SPHL, and of course, this past summer when he was briefly in Indiana Sentinel. Jamie Bucell and FM Michigan will take the biggest face-off of the game. It's won back by the Wolves. Klink got it down to Dabari. 8 seconds left. Dabari for Klink. Takes the shot, blocked by Brockway. Poke behind the net. Chernak, it won't go at the horn, and the Prowlers win it. Ben Brockway with a shot block in the final moments, and the Prowlers somehow come away with the 3 points tonight. One of the most ridiculous game-winning goals you will ever see off the stick of Brian Parsons. And why not a block from Ben Brockway to end it? Let's take another look. Watch 13 in white up at the top of your screen. Eats the shot from Klink, the Wolves' leading goal scorer. And that shot by Cherniak wouldn't have counted even if it went in, as it came after the horn. It sounded, but the Prowlers get out of this one with 3 points. They'll try and go for the weekend sweep tomorrow night. Coming up here on the post-game show here on the PHP Network, well, with highlights and analysis, we have figured out all the bugs back in studio, back in Michigan. So Brady Beaton will bring you all the highlights and analysis. We will also take a look, he'll also take a look at the final game stats, the out-of-town scores, locker room reaction, and much more. All of that coming up here on the PHP PHP Network. Somehow, some way, the Prowlers get the job done here tonight. In case you have to go early, we will also hear from, by the way, our Gunther Graphics player of the game, as well as Prowlers associate head coach Chris Paulin. So be sure you don't go anywhere unless you really have to. If you do, we hope to see you next time here on the PHP Network. That's tomorrow night. Prowlers and the Wolves do it again. A 7:30 p.m. puck drop, 7:15 pregame show right here on the PHP Network. But the Prowlers somehow, some way, again, they find a way to get 3 points. And there's the hero himself, Brian Parsons, heading to the locker room. We will hear from him, as Parsons is our Gunther Graphics player of the game. We'll also hear, again, from Prowlers associate head coach Chris Paulin. And now it's time to send it back to Brady Beaton in Michigan for the start of the postgame show right here on the PHP Network.
Are you sick of asking somebody else to live your own life? I'm Josh with the Franchise Guys. If you're ready to quit your job or build your empire, I'll help you trim down my 800 franchise brand partnerships down to a few that fit you, fit your goals, and fit your budget. With options from senior care to airplane detailing, there's an opportunity for you. Owning a franchise can have up to a 90% success rate. That's better than job security. With the systems and support of a franchise, you won't be making all those costly mistakes as you would if you started your own business from scratch. And with options as low as $6,000 to get your own job-replacing business, there's no better option for you than to book a free call with me and my team. Visit GoFranchiseGuys.com. Stop dreaming about a better life and go live it.
This isn't working. LJ, pass me those flyers. No look behind the back pass. It's a whole play. LJ, come on. Gap up. Close the gap. Close the gap. What are we saying? This isn't working. We need a shift change. Let's bring in the professionals.
Once. Right.